Obviously we played them last year, the game before we went to Maui, and we were up 5 at half. And I just remember, you know, them slowing the game down, being really physical, screening, cutting really hard, play with a lot of force, in transition, try to get out and get some scores, and didn't want to play against our set defense. And they, when they did play against our set defense, they did a good job of trying to pick us apart in some spots. And they really, honestly, they helped expose some things defensively for us early in the year and helped us get better. But it was not an easy game by any means, and we were able to stretch it out at the end. But I just remember after that game, we definitely felt like we were tested at a high level. So, immediately when we got that name popped up, obviously as coaches, you kind of snap and get into the mode where, okay, now it's time to prepare. It was not oh man, we got a cupcake game. Like, no, not at all. Like, we're taking Wofford extremely serious. We know they're a good team. And obviously they came in here and competed against us with some of the same guys that they have on this team. So
How similar is this team to last year's Walker team?
well, the best player is the same guy. So uh, the big fella that is really skilled, number 14, that's really skilled, can really pass it. Um, doesn't shoot it great, but he's a good player. They still have some of the same personnel. They still play in some of the same concepts. So we know they're still going to be a really good team. And obviously, I mean, anybody who makes the tournament right now is a good team or really hot. And they're coming off a winning streak and winning their league title. So, no, you're good.
Coach, I know you don't want to overlook the first team, but what's the challenge this time of year? Potentially scouting for and preparing for three teams, the one you're going to face first, and then possibly the other two.
Yeah, well, we do a good job breaking it up like we do in the regular season. Right now, Coach Polinsky and me are scouting the next game. Coach Gainey is scouting the game we're preparing for. So we're kind of breaking it up, divvying it up, and kind of seeing which teams do this and making sure that we're ready. In case we win that first game, move on to the next, and we're ready to go, just like we do in a conference tournament or regular season. We kind of keep guys on par for that.
Is it a surprise to see a SoCon team be a 15 seed?
I mean, when I was a mid-major coach, we never made the tournament, so I don't know exactly like how it all works when it comes to the mid-major teams. That's a league that's obviously, very well respected. I've always respected the league from afar. I've always thought it was a really good mid-major league. So, seeing them as a 15, I wasn't surprised to see like a Horizon League team as a 15, or I wasn't surprised to see. Well, it wasn't surprised to see McNeese State out of the Southland be. I think they were at 12, right? That's kind of crazy because I coached in the Southland for a little bit and I didn't. No offense, no disrespect, but yeah, that didn't seem like a 12 seed type league to me. But they've had a great year. But I think when it comes to the SoCon, it's a respected league. Wofford obviously played really well. I watched them a lot because I had a friend in Chattanooga this year. So we know they're competitive, and I guess it does guys a disservice of them being a 15. But either way, we're gonna be really prepared for it.
How important is it to get Igor back to doing things that Igor does so well?
I think that the number one point of emphasis for Igor right now is we got to get him back to rebounding the ball the way he did early in the year, because that's the biggest thing that we need right now. We need to in the tournament, defensive rebounding can take you a long way. It just does. You need force and physicality down low. You need guys that are willing to do the dirty work, and we've had guys that are willing to do that all year. He's just going through a rut right now where he hasn't played well, if we're being honest, and he's probably as hard on himself than anybody right now. But just kind of motivating him, supporting him, but also understanding that, like, it's go time now. There's no turning back. At the end of the day, he loses one more game and his college career is over, just as much as, a lot of those guys we got in the locker room. So just making sure that he continues to lock in on the attention to detail and do the things that have made him successful all year this year. What makes him so good at post entries? Yeah, you could tell that they work on it a lot. They also flash their big up and try to play through him out top. He's a good passer. He could DHO and really pick guys apart with his facilitating. You could tell that they work on it a ton, getting the ball inside and getting it to him. And he plays with a lot of force and physicality down there. So, I think that, they've had him for some years. Those guys are used to him. They know he's productive. And at the end of the day, guards learn to throw the ball to bigs that make them look good all the time. that's just what it is. It's not hard for Zakai to throw a lob to Felix because the likelihood of him finishing it is probably high. So, you know, I love our guys, but we're not going to act like they're just the sweetest little angels in the world. Zakai Ziegler passes the ball because he knows he's going to get assist. Not to say he's selfish, but it's a part of the game where you have to be selfish when it comes to things like that. So, you know, I think that they do a good job of getting Big Fella the ball and getting him in spots where he can be effective, and he does a good job of finishing plays for him. So.
It's allowed y'all to have success offensively in some of these games recently when you haven't shot the ball well from three.
It's honestly extremely inspiring, considering the fact that like we know our guys are gonna make shots. You know, we got some of the best shooters in the country. Honestly, we got guys that can really get on the roll. They can really make a lot of shots. Good to see Zakai having the ball go in. You know, Chaz is gonna get his percentages up a little bit. You know, even he has some peaks and valleys when it came to it. Jordan as well, but you know, I think that the thing that we've you know, I've always said this year, coaches always said it this year, we've said it about other teams this year. Me and Coach Gainey talk about it all the time. When you have multiple guys on your team that can all go for 25 plus on any given night, it makes you really hard to stop offensively because you never know whose night it's going to be. When we were preparing for Texas the other day, that was the number one thing we kept saying. It's like they got multiple guys that can give you 25, 30 plus every night, right? We've kind of shown that we are able to have guys with that type of pop as well. So it makes us dangerous, and it probably makes us really tough to prepare for because you don't know which guys are going to get going. But we want those guys to continue to play with confidence, especially going into March, and continue to play with that swagger that they have when it comes to the offensive end.
Were you gaining and bringing the mid-range jumpers all the way back into basketball?
I would say our whole team has. Chaz didn't even shoot the mid-range jumpers before he got here. Now he's like George Gervin or something. So, and he likes them. He likes them. He takes them and he makes them. He came off of a pin down the other day and turned, and I think he had like a foot inside the three-point line and shot it, and it was beautiful. And after the game, I remember like, that's a horrible shot. But he makes it at a high clip, and, you know, we're going to trust those guys, especially those green light guys that really shoot the ball at a high level. So we let them take any shots they want, man. As long as they make them, go ahead and let it ride.
Jordan gets respected as a guy that can give you plenty off the bench.
Not enough. I don't. We know how good he is when it comes to that. We know how capable he is when it comes to that, but I don't think he's respected as much as he should be. He's one of those guys that should be talked about as like a national Sixth Man of the Year guy. I know John Rothstein put it in an article not too long ago, and I don't think people understand enough that that's a sixth starter for us, man. He does a really good job of coming in with energy and playing with a lot of toughness and grit and a lot of freedom when it comes to shot making, and he opens our offense up even more, obviously. So, you know, I think he demands a little bit more respect than he's been getting, but, you know, he keeps that chip on his shoulder and keeps proving people wrong, and he'll get it.
What's the concern level with the quick turnaround after 3 physical games? Maybe anything different about how y'all are going about this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, no different than playing, you know, in an early season tournament where you have multiple games and then coming back and trying to make sure that you get rested and get prepared for the next bout of games. Now, obviously, this is a quick turnaround. You know, you usually don't play 3 games in 3 days and then you turn around on the Tuesday and leave. But, you know, we did this a few years ago and had to play on a Thursday. And it was a quick turnaround. But I think that, when you've done it before as a program, you learn what to do and what not to do for that next time. So it's a matter of us being really strategic and how we're going to get the guys rested, how we're going to get them extra time off their feet, you know, how practice is going to be, what pace and what tempo it will be at, and just making sure guys have legs and they're fresh and ready to go.
When's the last time you saw a guy shoot free throws Randy style?
Rick Barry, didn't he do that? I think. In like the 1960s or something like that. Yeah, my mom was born then. She's 60, so that's a long time ago. But if it works for him, I'm good with it. Like, do your thing, big fella. And it looks like he works on them a lot. So GP does too before practice. But yeah, it's effective for him, and it's obviously unique. I'm sure college basketball fans are gonna love watching it. So I mean, it's cool.
How's your mid-range jumper?
My mid-range jumper?
Better than GP's?
Man, first of all, come on, bro. GP's a little up there, bro. If I can't shoot a mid-range better than GP, that's a problem. Considering the fact, I know he didn't have the three-point line when he played and everything, but I got a better mid-range jumper than GP. But all love to my guy. But no, come on, man.